Hi guys, this is mine and baby's first ride of 2019. This ride was after the lunging video that I posted. I had lunged her because I hadn't ridden her in so long, and this was the ride that was after that. And we start all of our rides off with just walking around. I like to walk her around to see where she is, if she's between my legs and between my reins, and just get a feel for her and her to get a feel for me, get a feel for my legs and my hands. And here I've switched to two hands, and I probably did that because I was feeling that she was probably not really wanting to stay between my legs, so I a lot of times will switch to two hands to get her between my reins and between my legs. And I was just going to put music to this video, but I saw some things in the jogging part that I wanted to explain to you a little bit. And whenever you see me pull on the reins, it's to get her balanced in some kind of a way. She's leaning either forward or left to right. Here's not too bad. I would like her head to be just a little bit lower, but we were just getting warmed up. This one is a little fast, her head's a little high, and in this next clip, you're going to see right there she raised her head, and that made her hollow out. And here's in slow motion, she's going along, she raises her head, and right there it changes her stride. Whenever they lift their head, their back hollows out, and right there I pulled, and you can see that it evened her stride out. This right here was a lot better, but the reason I pull, it's not to make her get her head. I am setting her back on her back end a little bit more to make her more balanced, because she was starting to be forward. Like in this picture, she looks forward, and when her head goes up, her back's gonna hollow out, and it's gonna change their strides when they do that. As you can see right here, the lines at the bottom. The one on the left is actually 5 little lines, the one on the right is 6 little lines. So it changes their stride, and then they start to move in an unbalanced way. And you can see the little upside down V's, how her legs, how they're kind of slightly forward instead of like a nice upside down V. So you want those that stride to be even and to be upright and not forward, kind of like this one here. See, both of those strides are even. There are 5 little lines on the bottom there, and you can see the V part of her leg. It looks better, and I'm showing this right here. See the neck? I want her to break more at the withers, so it levels her head out to at least level, if not a little bit below, but she should be breaking at the withers. And here is the next frame, her strides even, but you can see where her breaking point is at the pole right there instead of at the withers. So she's resisting a little bit, but that's why I'm setting, pulling her is to set her back on her back end a little bit more so she can carry herself. This picture's a little bit better as far as headset, but her stride's a little bit off. But she is breaking at the withers here in this picture too. Her head's a little bit better, her stride's better. So that's kind of my goal that I'm striving for when I'm riding her. And you can see those better 2 pictures right next to each other. The one on the right's a little bit better, I think. Her neck is a little bit flatter. And that's my goal when I'm riding her. As far as a Western pleasure look, neither picture is really bad. I like both looks. The one on the left, her nose is tipped in just a little bit, but she has a looser rein. The one on the right, her face is a little bit better, and it's her nose isn't tipped back too far. I think that's a really good headset right there. The only thing that I would like is to be able to do that on a little bit looser rein, but right now I'm trying to help her to get in the right position for what I like, for my taste, and for Western pleasure. So that's my goal, whether I'm riding her or Chansey or my Appy, is to help them to learn how to carry themselves. And they can't carry themselves if they're leaning forward, if they're leaning on the bit, if they're sucking back too much, if they're leaning left or leaning right, whether it's a shoulder dropping or the rib cage sticking out, poking out one way or the other, or if they're stiff, they won't be able to carry themselves. And if they can't carry themselves, they're not going to be able to go on a loose rein without you helping them. So that's the whole goal, is to get them where they can carry themselves without your help. And by carrying themselves, that means that they're balanced. And when they're balanced, they're going to be able to go slower and have lift and look pretty. And she has a pretty cute little jog already, but for me, it's like she does push out on my legs sometimes, and she just doesn't stay balanced all the time all by herself. So that's what I'm trying to teach her, is to, when I feel her out of balance, I try to balance her and put her where she needs to be. And when I get her where I want her, then I release and see how long she can carry that herself. And it's just a process of just consistency and just repetitive. You just keep helping and showing them where you want them to be. And then when you get them there, you have to release, and you have to give them a release, because if you don't give them a release and you keep holding them, they're never really going to learn. So it is a process, and I taught my Appy how to do this, but in a different way. I didn't know a lot of this stuff when I first got my Appy, so I taught him by when he was going too fast to stop, back, and start again. And that's something I'm going to use with her too eventually, because you don't want to help them. If you keep helping them all the time, they're not going to learn it either. So right now I'm just trying to get her where she feels good between my legs and between my reins, and she doesn't have that much lean, where Chansey's really good at staying between my legs and reins. And her, especially since this is our first ride since last year, we were both a little rusty, and our next couple rides after this are better. And I use different bits too. This bit that I have on is I think it's a 3-piece shank bit, is the one that I rode in first. And I'm just trying different bits with her, and depending on what I feel for the day. I think one of the next times I use just a short shank curb bit, and then I use a 3-piece ring snaffle with her too. And I'll eventually be going to the thing that I used with my Appy, where if she's not doing right, she's going to stop and back. If she's going too fast, like this is too fast for me. I'd like it to be a little bit slower, but that wasn't my goal for this ride. The goal for this ride was to get her more balanced, because again, if she's not balanced, she can't go slow and she can't have that lift. And after we kind of get a little bit better connection with my legs and getting her between my legs and my reins, then that'll be the next thing that we'll do, is I'll stop and back her and start her again. And that's a way to teach them, to kind of slow down and be with you without touching their face. Because again, it's like you want to get them to the point where they do it on their own, and they know that they're supposed to stay where they are and not speed up, so they'll be more consistent, and you'll be able to have a loose rein, and they'll be able to carry themselves. And that's what you want for Western pleasure. You want them to go slow and lifted on a nice loose rein without having to touch their face. Local shows, you can get away with holding them a little bit more, and having the reins tighter, but bigger shows, you want a little droop in the rein, and you want their heads at least level. I like them dropped just a little bit below level, but you want them breaking at the withers. You don't want them breaking at their neck or their poll. You don't want their heads elevated. You want their necks level, if not below, and you want their faces, you don't want them to be past the vertical, so you don't want their noses tipped back too far. And I just wanted to explain that, of what I'm doing and what my goal is when I post my riding videos on here. I'm not just pulling on her to make her slow down. I'm pulling on her because I can feel her going forward in her body, shifting forward, her weight shifting forward. So I hold her face and get her to shift her weight back to her back end. So in a way it is slowing her down, but it's not just pulling her face to slow her down. It's using your hands and the connection to her mouth to hold her and shift her weight back. You'll feel the weight shift back. So you're not just using your hands to do it. I use my legs and my seat too while I'm doing that, and get her to redistribute her weight, because when her weight goes back to her back end, she's going to be more lifted and balanced, and she'll be a little bit slower. I hope I explained that okay. I hope that made sense. But anyway, I just wanted to give you an idea of what my goals are, so when you watch my future videos, you can like see if I'm improving, and just watch our journey to being a better Western pleasure team. Anyway, this video is getting long, and I hope you guys have a great day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments, post below. I like to hear from you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye bye.